have these providers that have already been set up now. So we have typically we have one or two for OpenLDAP. We may have some for Active Directory. We may have one for NIST. So how do we put these together? How do we define which ones we want to use for a particular tenant? As I said, these are defined cluster-wide. Well, to begin with, first off, if you're not using multi-tenancy, you don't have any additional tenants defined, when you add Active Directory, that's automatically going to be configured into the default tenant. Or when you add the first OpenLDAP provider, it's automatically going to be configured into the default tenant. But if you have more than one tenant, you need to define which ones you wish to use. So again, you assign the providers to the tenants, and these again are going to be the combinations that we support for this. But when you go through, you go under Element Store Tenants, and you'll be presented with a list of providers to go through and use. Now, the GUI has changed slightly depending on the version that you're using, so this screen may look a little bit different, but we go through and we select which Active Directory provider we wish to use, which LDAP provider we wish to use for this tenant, which NIS provider we wish to use. This is all going to be a drop-down menu for this, so we select which AD tenant, which LDAP tenant we may want to use, select those there. We can select which one is the one to provide the login name information. Again, this is going to be the UPN for this. If we want to rely on AD or we want to rely on LDAP, we can do that. And then which one do we want to use for that POSIX primary provider. So if I do have UID numbers in both OpenLDAP and Active Directory for the same user, which one are we going to go through and use? In the cases for a POSIX primary provider, if I have attributes in only one or the other, we're going to use whatever attributes we find. It doesn't matter what the POSIX primary provider. This just says that, hey, if I've got conflicts for a user or there's disagreements as to one or the other, which is going to be the source of truth for. And that's it.